Johnny Depp's attorneys rest their case after nearly 2 weeks of testimony from the actor himself and more than a dozen key witnesses. The case now shifting to the defense, as Amber Heard's first witness took the stand on Tuesday. Dawn Hughes, a forensic psychologist, went into detail about the abuse Heard endured as a child. Hughes said that Heard's childhood made it easier for the actress to fall into an alleged abusive relationship with Johnny Depp. She also diagnosed Heard with PTSD, citing her tumultuous relationship with the Pirates of the Caribbean actor.
When behaviors come up on this scale, they're very worrisome, very scary, and we have to take them seriously. So there were a number of behaviors that came up on this scale, such as Mr. Depp threatens to kill her.
The psychologist claimed Heard was the victim of abuse on multiple occasions during her multi-year marriage with Depp. She said Depp subjected Heard to abusive psychological and sexual behavior, and on one instance performed a cavity search on the Aquaman actress.
There are indications, as I mentioned before, of the sexual assault and the sexual abuse, and how he would, when he was angry and when he was drunk, it was mostly drug and alcohol fueled rage when he would, throw her on the bed and try to have sex with her.
And earlier today, Heard's attorneys asked the judge to dismiss the case, saying Depp did not provide sufficient evidence to prove his case. The judge rejected Heard's motion to dismiss. Amber Heard is expected to take the stand on Wednesday, more than 3 weeks after the high-profile trial began. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
So major headlines coming out of the defamation trial today, as of course the defense now bringing forth their witnesses, their experts. To break it all down, I want to bring in legal analyst Katie Cherkosky. Katie, thanks for being with us here. Let's just dive right in, because Dawn Hughes, the psychologist who was called to the stand today, I would say pretty explosive testimony with, of course, that PTSD statement and so much more.
Absolutely. So obviously, Amber Heard is having her opportunity to defend against these allegations that she defamed Johnny Depp by claiming that she was a victim of abuse. So her goal, her team's goal here, is to show that she was in fact a victim of some sort, and that she actually believed she was. And that's what she has to show here, essentially, to defend against this allegation of defamation.
And so with that, I want to bring up some of the video from today, because we showed Amber Heard at the very end. She was getting emotional from hearing about that abuse, which they really went into detail about, saying it was sexual abuse, that she was forced to perform oral sex when Johnny Depp was drunk or high, even saying that he penetrated her with a liquor bottle. Definitely not easy things to be hearing there up on the stand, but these are vastly different from what Depp's legal team has been saying.
Well, of course, and that's always been the trouble, if you will, for Depp, because if Amber Heard can establish that she was a victim, even on one instance, and that she was legitimately victimized, then really his legal argument fails. So if this were a criminal case, then Johnny Depp would have a lot of fodder to work with in terms of disproving certain allegations. But because he sued her for defamation, he has to show that she was not a victim at any point. So I can expect way more details of the abuse that she claimed she suffered at the hands of Johnny Depp in her own testimony. And of course, the psychologist really laid out quite a lot of alarming details that she had learned through her analysis of Amber Heard.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would imagine a lot of Amber Heard's testimony is going to go into, those unfortunate details of what she's alleging of abuse from Johnny Depp. Is that going to be enough for her case?
The way that the Depp camp can win is if they can show that Amber Heard's credibility is so decimated that the jury cannot believe any of the claims of abuse. And that's going to be a very high burden for them to reach on Depp's side. He has the burden here. He brought the lawsuit. He has to prove that she knowingly and falsely, with actual malice, claimed that she was a victim of abuse when she was in fact not. And that, at this point, seems very difficult, because there is a lot of evidence that, even through cross-examination of many of Depp's witnesses, has come out that there was even mutual abuse. So to reach the burden of showing that she made these allegations up out of whole cloth, I think is difficult for Depp. In terms of the jury believing Amber's credibility, if Johnny Depp's team can really decimate her on cross-examination and essentially get her to rest her entire credibility on one allegation that they can maybe show is false, that would be a chance to show that none of it can be trusted and that she really did fabricate all of these allegations. But because of the nature of the case being a defamation trial, not a criminal trial, that is still going to be a high burden. So I think that if she can establish even some instances of abuse, and it doesn't have to just be physical abuse, it can be sexual abuse, emotional abuse, or otherwise, then she has a very good chance of victory, in my opinion.
Interesting. Well, her legal team requesting a dismissal, and the judge rejected that today. Were you surprised by that? Were you surprised by the request, by the dismissal? What were your thoughts?
Not particularly surprised by the request, not surprised by the denial. The defense has been trying to get the case dismissed for some time. There's been some pretrial motions that have been filed and denied. The judge has determined that this is an issue of fact for the jury to determine that Johnny Depp put on enough evidence to essentially establish what they would call a prima facie case of defamation, if in fact the jury believes his version of events, that she fabricated all of this, that he was in fact the victim, and that she is not a victim at all. And by claiming that she was in this op-ed, it did in fact cost him damages to a great extent.
Well, moving forward here, this is just clearly one person on Amber Heard's side. Who do you foresee coming to the stand? Because we've now confirmed that her ex-beaux, Elon Musk and James Franco, are not going to be testifying. So who do you see their legal team kind of utilizing to push their case forward?
Well, the biggest testimony is going to come from Amber Heard herself.
Right.
And in fact, the defense's case, even though part of it is from Johnny Depp's witnesses, is a lot of the cross-examination that they conducted on those witnesses that came up to kind of tear apart the plaintiff's case in this matter. So her testimony is going to be key here, and really her cross-examination is the final frontier for Depp's team to really show that she has no credibility, that nothing she says can be trusted, and that she did in fact make up these allegations and cost him all of this money and damages and loss of employment. So I'm not sure in terms of further witnesses who they're going to call, but really Amber Heard is the crux of the case here.
Yeah, a lot of weight on one person's shoulders, especially in the midst of a lot of attacks from online. She said that she's logged off of social media while this trial goes on, but I would imagine she's probably heard about what is circulating on social. She fired her PR team. What role does that play when a trial is going on, but there's still so much happening outside of the courtroom?
Well, it must be difficult. Obviously, Johnny Depp has legions of fans that really support him and really believe that he should win this case. That doesn't necessarily mean the law is on his side if you look just at the evidence, and this comes down to the jury's decision. So in terms of Amber Heard's approach, whether she obviously was impacted by what she saw as the direction of the case, I don't know that it impacted the jury as much as maybe she believed it did, but it's going to come down to the jury and whether they believe that the legal burden was met here. And really, if they can be swayed that she was in fact lying, it could still go in Johnny Depp's favor. But legally speaking, if you're just looking strictly at the evidence, it is going to be very difficult, in my opinion, for Johnny Depp to prevail.
All right, Katie Cherkasky, any last thoughts on this? Things that you'll be watching in the courtroom this week?
Waiting for Amber Heard's testimony. I was hoping that she would testify today. Obviously, the psychologist finished up and we'll have cross-examination in the morning. So that will be interesting as well. But that in and of itself can establish enough of a defense for victory for Amber Heard if she does well on her testimony itself.
Okay, we'll watch it alongside you. Katie Cherkasky, legal analyst, thanks so much for joining us here.
Thanks.